What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to go over some helpful tips that can help you get your shiny charm in Pokemon Legends Arceus a little bit faster. As you may or may not be aware, Pokemon Legends Arceus does contain a shiny charm, and it takes a little bit more work to get your shiny charm in this game compared to other games. Previously, you would just have to catch one of every species in the Pokedex, excluding the event mythicals, and then you could go talk to the professor and you'd be rewarded with the shiny charm. Pokemon Legends Arceus works a little bit differently than that. In addition to having to catch at least one of every non-mythical species, you also have to get each one of their research levels up to level 10. The biggest tip that I want to give you first is how you can get to research level 10 as quickly as possible. If you open up one of the Pokedex pages, let's look at Whiscash for example, you can see how some of the tasks have double red arrows next to them. Anytime you complete one of those tasks, that actually counts for 2 research levels instead of 1. So let's say you start out with Whiscash at research level 0. You have not done anything for Whiscash at all. If you were to catch one Whiscash, because number caught has the red arrows next to it, if you were to catch one Whiscash and you go turn it into the professor, you would go up to research level 2 on Whiscash. However, if you were to encounter your first Whiscash and you were to knock it out, because number defeated does not have the arrows next to it, your research level would only go up to 1. So because of this, you ideally want to be prioritizing the tasks that have the red arrows next to them, because you will only have to complete 5 tasks with red arrows next to them to get to research level 10 for a species, instead of 10 tasks that don't have the arrows next to them. This is especially useful for some of the Pokemon like the other starters, since they are harder to come by. You can speak to the professor after the credits and you can receive the other 2 starters that you did not pick at the beginning of the game, but you are going to then have to spend quite a bit of time using some moves to level them up. But for example, if you look at Oshawott, I would want to prioritize using Aqua Jet over Water Pulse or Slash, because Aqua Jet is going to give me 2 research levels per checkmark instead of 1 like Water Pulse or Slash would give. Another good way to get your shiny charm quickly is to just be as efficient as possible. Now what I mean by that is basically combining tasks. So for example, you can see that Shinx needs to use quick attacks and bites, and Wurmples you need to defeat. So for example, if you are using Shinx and you use Bite to knock out a Wurmple, you will be getting, you'll have seen Bite once, and you'll have knocked out 1 Wurmple. So that is essentially 1 battle that gives you multiple check marks, instead of just, using Shinx to use Bite against like a Bidoof when you've already defeated more than 15 Bidoofs. One other tip that I want to give you, this will largely come in handy when you are grinding for the perfect pages in your Pokedex, but this does also help when you are going for research level 10s. Certain species of Pokemon will want you to use a lot of status moves, like the Evolutions, for example. Each one of them you need to use Baby Doll Eyes 15 times, and they also need 70 Agile style moves each. Now that is quite a lot, but what you can do is you can come fight Magikarps. Bruh. Magikarp only knows Splash. Splash has 40 power points, so Magikarp will take 40 turns, and what you can do is if you just put Baby Doll Eyes to the front, you can then just basically sit here and just mash A against a Magikarp and just put your status move as the first move, and that way you're very quickly getting your status moves. Magikarp is not going to knock you out. Magikarp will only struggle after 40 turns, so you're going to make a lot of progress, and it will just be a very, very quick way to get a lot of these moves where you don't have to worry about taking damage. You don't have to worry about running around and finding other Pokemon and like stopping to heal kind of a thing. You can just sit here at Magikarp and you can get through the status moves and even the Agile moves very, very quickly. You can use Agile and Strong Style for your status moves. If your Pokemon has not mastered that move yet, you can either use a Seed of Mastery, which you can obtain by defeating Alphas, or you can just level that Pokemon up a little bit more until they naturally master the move themselves. Another tip that can help you complete some of these entries faster is number caught can also be achieved by evolving. So for example, if you look at Leafeon here, you need to catch 5 Leafeons. You can catch Leafeon in a space-time distortion, or if you get like a couple of Eevee outbreaks and you have a bunch of extra Eevees, you can just take 5 Eevees, over to the Mossy Rock in the Obsidian Fieldlands and evolve Eevee 5 times into Leafeon, and that will be your 5 Leafeons caught. So not every entry where it says caught has to actually be accomplished by catching the Pokemon. This also works for entries that require caught at a specific time of day. If you can evolve the Pokemon, like Cherim, for example, if you catch a bunch of Cherubies and then keep them in your PC, get them ready to evolve, and then go to a location, change the time to day, and then just evolve them, that will count as number caught during daylight hours for Cherim. So make use of evolving species to get the caught entries completed faster. You don't just actually have to catch them. The last tip I want to give you is keep an eye out for space-time distortions. There are a lot of species of Pokemon that can only be found in the space-time distortions and can only be found as the rare spawns. Pokemon like this include Johto Sneasel, which of course is needed for Weavile, Shieldon and Cranidos, Magnemite and Magneton, as well as Rowlet, Oshawott, and Cyndaquil. So as you are playing through the game, if you see a space-time distortion appear, make sure you are going there and make sure you catch the 3 rare spawns that you can get. You are limited to a maximum of 3 rare spawns per space-time distortion, so make sure you go into every distortion that you see and catch all of your rare spawns. Even if you already have the Pokedex research level at level 10, you are going to want to be catching these rare spawns, because if you are eventually going for perfect pages, you don't want to have to sit around and wait for distortions to appear, because sometimes they can take a while. And that will do it for this quick video. Nothing like super crazy mind-blowing, but I did just want to share some of the tips that I use to help complete my Pokedex and get my Shiny Charm. I did get my Shiny Charm this past week. It took me a little over a week to do this, but I didn't realize some of these tips until like near the end of the Pokedex completion, so I could have maybe picked it up a day or 2 earlier had I known this stuff in advance. So I wanted to put this quick video together to help you get your Pokedex completed as quickly as possible. I want to give a big shout out to Kitsune in my community. She gave me a few of these tips that I am sharing with you today, so a big thank you, Kitsune, for sharing this information with us. That will do it for today's video. If you have any additional tips to get your Pokedex completed faster, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, and I can collect them all and put them in a pinned comment. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you are new. Thank you everybody again so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.